Hi, I'm Jules and you're watching Catalyst Plus TV, the place to be to make more possible. This week I'm talking about casual employees. If you're an employer, you may have heard about the new regulations that Fair Work Australia has come up with. If you've got a casual employee that has worked with you for 12 months, then they are now entitled to ask for a permanent part-time or a full-time position. Now, as an employer, that can be a bit daunting because there's annual leave and sick leave included. Whereas previously, as a casual employee, you paid them as and when they worked. Now that employee has to have worked with you for 12 months on a very regular basis. So say that employee works for you 3 days a week and it's always Monday to Wednesday. Then that is actually more like a part-time position because it is regular time and it is regular days every week. So in that circumstance, it is more likely that you will have to comply with giving that employee a permanent part-time position. If, however, that casual employee had worked for you for 12 months on a very regular basis, so mostly every week, and it was Monday this week, Thursday next week, and Friday the week after, and it was a bit sporadic, then you may be able to refuse a permanent part-time position. Now, I've got a little note because it is quite complicated. There are some reasons why an employer are reasonably allowed to deny such a request from an employee. The first is that it would require a significant adjustment in the employee's hours of work for the employee to be engaged in permanent part-time or a full-time role. So this is an obligation such as like if the employee was working on sporadic days throughout the week. The second reason that you are allowed to deny such a request is if it is reasonably foreseeable that that employee's role will not be available in 12 months' time. So potentially this is related to people that may have a 1 or 2 year contract with certain clients and they know that at the end of that term, that part-time position would not be required. And that's the reasoning for putting a casual employee on. The third reason is that the employee's regular hours of work will significantly be reduced over the next 12 months. So perhaps that is something to do with knowing that, again, you've got a particular contract and that work is going to reduce over time. And the fourth reason is that it's reasonably foreseeable that in the next 12 months there may be changes in the days and the roster that is required to be worked. So for instance, say you're a cafe and currently you're open 7 days a week, but you want to go back to doing 5 days a week because you've identified 2 days a week that isn't making money. Instead of your employees that are currently on a casual arrangement for having regular days, you may have to reduce their hours and also reduce the days that they're relevant to work. So that employee that was generally working on those 2 days that you're now closing, they wouldn't have the same hours going forward within the next 12-month period. Those are the reasonable circumstances that the Fair Work will agree with the employer that the contract shouldn't move to a permanent part-time or permanent full-time position. This was a lot to take in and it's quite complicated for us as well. So we're going to put some more information on our blog at www catalystplus.com.au, as well as some references from the Fair Work Australia website so that you can make an informed decision. But if an employee does come to you and asks to move from casual to permanent, part-time or full-time, don't feel like you have to say yes just yet. Go get some advice from your advisor or your solicitor, and then they should be able to help you. If you don't have an advisor and this situation is relevant for you, please press the book now button and you can get 15 minutes free with yours truly, and I'll be able to give you some quick advice over the phone. Otherwise, have yourself an awesome week, and we'll see you in next week's episode of Catalyst Plus TV.